Hi, if you've been following my videos throughout this process of where I've been talking about redefining relationships, you have probably noticed that I basically in every video I mention something called Eqafe, and I mention interviews that I've listened to and that have supported me in working my process of redefining relationships. So in that context, I decided that I would make a video about Eqafe and what Eqafe is and how it supports me on a daily basis with these interviews. So Eqafe is like a virtual shop where one can purchase and download both material that you have to pay for and material that is free. So it's like digital downloading, similar to iTunes, but instead of iTunes, this is the Desteni material from the Desteni group and from the Desteni farm. So the majority of material that is on the website are interviews, and then there is also books and music, but it's mostly interviews. And the interviews are categorized in various series that deal with different aspects of existence and life and humanity and relationships between people and points and the mind. And so in most of the series, if not all the series, one of the first interviews, like there's like an introduction interview that will be free. And so one can go and have a listen to that and see if this series is something that one finds supporting and would like to listen to more, and then one can make the decision to invest in this series. And there's for example, a series about masturbation that is really awesome and very, very surprising information about masturbation. And that series is like free, like each week a new interview comes out or is promoted as free. So there's basically a lot of interviews you can download from that series. Anyways, so every month I have given myself a budget in my monthly income. I do it together with my partner, so we have like a budget, and so we look at what interviews. We go to the website, and it's like, shopping for candy almost, because there will always be like new cool interviews in the various series that we're listening to, and I'd like to listen to all of it, but my budget does not allow that. So I follow various series, and sometimes I go back to some other series, and sometimes I pick one interview because some of the interviews have titles that will be very specific, like how to stop jealousy, for example. So, and maybe you're facing jealousy right in that point in your life, and so you could then go and simply buy that single interview. And they're usually like between 30 to 50 minutes or an hour long. So for me, I listen to the interviews more or less always when I am in motion physically. So either I do it when I'm riding my bicycle, or if I am doing the dishes or sorting clothes, or if I am walking. Often I listen to them when I'm walking, or if I'm exercising. I've done that as well. I was at the gym, but it was a little bit difficult to keep attention while I was at the gym. So, I mean, that's something that I have to train. And then I listen a lot to the interviews when I'm on the bus. And for me, it's a really cool way to use the time that I have. I have a lot of transportation time. So that's my listening to interview time. And so in relation to this particular series about relationships, there are some series that I will recommend that one listen to in one's journey of redefining relationships from within an as in mind, past history definition to a relationship that stands where both partners are equal participants in an agreement of changing what it means to be in a relationship. I've talked about that in other videos. And so the series that I have found very supportive in this context are, first and foremost, the first one I listened to was the What is Sex series. And it is basically what it says. It's about what sex actually is, um, and how sex has evolved. And again, this is also some very surprising information for most people listening, I would say. Um, so very fascinating. And so I've been listening to all of that. It's been very cool support. And then there is the relationship support series that specifically deals with how to perfect and make one's relationship with a partner effective. So they take up like a point or a topic in each interview. And then there is the masturbation series, which also deals with sex, but like more in the context of fantasies and masturbation, and so it goes specifically into that. So that's really cool for people who, like, I know a lot of guys who had really big issues with the point of masturbation, because it's can be such a highly energetically charged point, that people become quite addicted to. And so this interview series is really cool in terms of supporting oneself with that. So these are like the three series that explicitly is about relationships and sex. Then there is like more random, or like some of the other series have parts that are about relationships. So, for example, I've recently been listening to really cool interviews from the Atlantean series, um, that is about anger and how to transcend anger in, the example was in relationships. And this pertains very specifically to some of the things that I've been experiencing in my relationship. Then there is the Quantum Mind interview series that also is very cool. So I mean, there's really a lot of series, and all of them are awesome, and like different interviews will provide different support depending on where one is in one's life and one's process. So I mean, you could just, if you're interested, you could just go and check it out and look. There's also a really cool series that every month we usually get a couple of these, because it's called Life Reviews. And so it is a person who is looking back at, like, they are reviewing their life, as the title says. And so they will have this like one point in their life that they realized, or that affected their entire life. And it can be anything. There are like anything and everything you could think of, and if you can't think of it, you can make the suggestion, and it sometimes these interviews can be made, if they're relevant. So like the life of a dwarf, the life of a porn actress, the life of someone who very easily got very angry, the life of a woman who liked married men, everything is. And all the interviews that I've listened to had some form of relevance in some way, like to what I was walking, or it was really, eye-opening to hear this particular story from this person. So those are definitely us, and some of them are free as well. So I definitely recommend listening to those also. So obviously investing in the interviews is primarily if you're serious, and this is, you'd like to listen to more. But if you just want to listen to the free interviews, you can also do that. There are no strings attached, so it's just click download, and there you have it. And then I transfer it to my phone so that I can listen to it while I'm out and about. So when I come here and I share realizations from these interviews, it is because I've listened and you know, sat there in the middle of the bus or walking in the middle of the street, and my ears are, and myself, I'm just being filled with support. And what I found is that it's tremendously important in my daily process of changing myself, because it's so easy to get lost and sidetracked inside one's own mind, and you know, you just get swamped and drowned in this like sea of thoughts and emotions and feelings. And so the interviews are really, and the blogs are really assisting in keeping one grounded and sticking to what matters, and you know, keeping things simple. And so that's it. That's all I have to say about that. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to leave a comment or post a video response, and I will be happy to answer any question. And so go and check out the Eqafe website. I'll place the link in the description box here below the video. Bye!